Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Drift Life Odyssey channel. Today we're going to be having a discussion video, which is, how I normally have my discussion videos in my live streams and stuff. For those of you that do be, watch my live streams and stuff like that. We're going to be discussing a game that I also live stream. It's called Sky, Children of the Light. Very chill, relaxing game. I highly recommend anybody who loves just chilling, exploration. Not really much of a combat. It's not really a combat type of game. Just more like exploration and connecting with people from other regions and stuff. Reliving spirits, memories, and looking good while doing it. But yeah, welcome back to the channel, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get started with the video. All right. So if you've been around, if you played Sky, for a minute or for a while and stuff like that, 6 months maybe 4 months, who knows, maybe longer. You've probably seen this debate rage hotter than the season of Assembly. We're talking about that game company, the one the company that made Sky. Specifically, are they greedy? Now, before anyone starts typing in their comments about their opinions about if TGC is greedy or anything about TGC is greedy and stuff like that, this isn't about shaming anyone for how they spend their money or accusing TGC of being inherently evil. This is about a nuanced discussion, looking at different perspectives on how a beloved free-to-play game, one built on connection and generosity, funds itself in a global market. So, without further ado, let's just get started with the perspective many of you, including myself, at times strongly resonate with. It is the player's choice, your decision, that you choose to spend what you want to spend on this game. TGC does not have a gun to our heads, y'all, and y'all have to understand that. And it's true. The core game, all the realms, the beautiful story on this game, everything here is completely free. There's no DLC content or anything like that. You can experience the entire journey without spending a single dime on this game. Everything else, all these gorgeous capes, the mask, props, they're cosmetics. They don't make you fly faster or solve puzzles better. It's just about how you look. There's no pay to win. And that's a massive point of distinction in the free-to-play world. We're not talking about pay-to-win mechanics here. Plus, let's be real. That game company is a business, y'all. They are a business. They are a gaming company. They have servers to maintain, artists to pay, developers creating new events and seasons. This game is a live service. They need revenue. And in-app purchases are how they get it. As for the prices, well, as one insightful viewer recently put it, I can spend money for a meal than a single item. And while that's true, that's your choice. That is your choice. If you are willing to drop $20 on a restaurant meal or groceries and stuff like that, or like I said, people be saying they can spend $10, $20 on a meal that lasts for an hour. Why can't someone choose to spend that money on a cosmetic that brings them joy in a game they play for hundreds of hours? It's all about individual value perception. And if you miss out on something, well, you made the choice not to get it. You can't blame the game company because you were conflicted about buying it because you thought it was expensive or not. If it's something is expensive, then it just is what it just is what it is. Or it's just not worth it, But you shouldn't have to bash a company, just cause you couldn't afford it or anything like that. That's on you at the end of the day. If you choose to buy it or not. If it's expensive to you, it's expensive to you. But if you got the money, so you can spend it. That's it's your choice if you don't get it, and that's on you. But then we have to look at the other side of the coin. The perspective that argues that game company's monetization, while technically voluntarily, uses tactics that feel predatory to some people. This isn't about literal coercion, but about psychological design. Let's talk about FOMO, fear of missing out. Seasons, traveling spirits, limited time events, they all create this intense urgency. You see that gorgeous cape and it might not be back for a year or ever, That's not and that's just not some encouragement for some players. It's a huge emotional pressure. I can see that perspective. It can lead to impulse buys or even worse, a feeling of anxiety and obligation to log in every day to grind candles just so you don't miss out on something free that requires hundreds of hours of your precious time. Then there are the prices themselves. While again, that whole, I could spend $10 on a meal comparison is valid for some players, Critics argue that a digital cosmetic, which has zero marginal cost of production after the initial creation, shouldn't be priced like a physical good. They feel that game company is targeting whales. Whales are, the few players are considered the few players who spend hundreds or thousands with high prices rather than making items more accessible for the wider player base. This creates a sort of status symbol culture that some argue clashes with Sky's message, of course. And this leads us to a critical point about global pricing. This is where the debate gets even more complex and, frankly, highlights some systematic issues. Is it Sky's problem or regional problem that prices are so different globally? And it's actually both. Because on one hand, you have undeniable regional problems, local taxes, app store fees that take a massive like 30% cut. Could be more. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know much about that. And it can widely fluctuate currency exchange rates. But, TGC has limited control over those kind of economic prices and stuff like that. You know? However, critiques also argue that it's also TGC's problem because they don't seem to aggressively implement PPP. PPP stands for Purchasing Power Parity. This is where a company intentionally sets prices lower in regions where the average income is lower, even if the direct currency conversion would make the item seem cheaper than in the US. An item that's a small splurge in the US might be a full day's or even a week's wage in another country. I don't know. Some people tell me from other regions $10 is a week worth of groceries and stuff like that. I'm not I'm from the United States. I don't know what goes on in other regions. And I feel like that's kind of that shoot. I wish I wish I could buy a week's worth of groceries with $10. I have to spend I got to spend over 100 something for some groceries, and that's fine because food, we need food. I have to eat, y'all. Y'all want me to starve? You feel me? But my bad, we're getting distracted. We're getting distracted. But yeah, by not actively adjusting this, the PPP that I was talking about, TGC, the player, Jesus, sorry, y'all. This is my first time doing this kind of like recording me doing this discussion thing, so please just bear with me. Just bear with me. But yeah, TGC just creates an exclusionary experience, I guess. It makes it incredibly difficult for some players in emerging economies to participate in the cosmetic side of the game, which feels very much against which some players feel is very much against the spirit of connection that Sky champions, So if TGC wanted to genuinely satisfy these kind of players, that these free to play players that they don't spend no money, they don't buy candle currency, they only grind, they don't really spend no money on here, only grind for candles, just wait for the travel experience to come. That's what could they do? You know. Now, see, I'm like I said before, y'all. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know much about how the pricing things work. But in TGC, if you're listening, if you ever come across this video, I'm a small YouTuber, so I doubt you'll even come across me. But this is just my solution, and I feel like this would definitely benefit a lot of free players, and definitely would satisfy everybody really. Maybe just adjust the grind for older traveling spirit items. Maybe try to like change them later on or something like that. It could ease some of the stress that some players feel when they're missing out on things. Because some people do grind every day for candle runs and stuff like that. I see that. I get on here. I just come and chill. I try to warp to some of my friends. Most of the time, most everybody is just candle running and stuff. It does feel like I can see the perspective that some people think that Sky is a chore sometimes because you're just getting on the game and you're just candle running. You're not really like enjoying the connection side of Sky. You're just going out and grinding for candles. You know? TGC, maybe you can like maybe just I feel like the TGC does have these kind of methods that some of these players do complain about. Like you don't have to go to every world and grind and candle run every world. You can literally just wait until you could probably just grind, candle run one world and then wait for grandma at Hidden Forest or Geyser at Sanctuary Islands, or there's a turtle event and stuff. There's like heck of a lot of events that's not DLC. That's in the game already. There's like candle events that we go to get more candles if we don't have to we don't have to candle run all the worlds. But there are some players that still choose to do that because I guess they just don't want to wait for Gmon and all the other stuff. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do just candle run every world and then they go to Gmon and then boom, they're done. But For some people, I'm me personally, I'm lazy. I don't feel like candle running every day and stuff like that. I want to chill and make some friends and stuff like that. I want to just make my own sky journey. Just I want to connect with people and stuff. That's all I try to do on this game. And, it's kind of hard to do that if folks are just candle running every day, and I don't know, they get exhausted after they get after the candle run. They just I don't know. It's I can definitely see that perspective on that. That is kind of boring in my opinion. You have to you're candle running all your worlds, and then you feel exhausted. I can definitely see that it is a chore for most people and stuff. You know. So TGC, maybe try to do something to balance that. But the community, especially those in less affluent regions, yearn for a more equitable experience. The debate isn't going away, and it shows how deeply players care about this game and its values. So, what do y'all think, man? I kind of just been rambling on this whole damn time, but where do y'all stand on this complex issue? Are high prices and fear of missing out just a necessary evil of a free game? Or does that game company have a moral obligation to adjust their pricing more aggressively for a truly global, inclusive community? You know? Let me know in the comments below and maybe give me some tips on, you know, during my discussion of this video. I can kind of tell that I was probably like all over the place and stuff. Y'all, I definitely want to start like doing these kind of discussion videos about certain games that I enjoy and my perspectiveness on things. I want to do a lot of that. I want to be able to understand where everyone's coming from and maybe come to a solution that we can all come to agree with. You know? Like these kind of games, they make me happy. I don't play the game just for. I love the cosmetics. I'll always support a game. I'll always support a game, and if I love the game a lot, I'm gonna support it no matter what. I don't care what the community says about me. Like they called some of us. I remember people called me like a TGC glazer. I'm riding on TGC and all that other stuff. I can't help that. I can't see y'all perspective on it. There was a time where I didn't had no money like that, y'all. I had no money like that. I had low funds. There was some stuff I wanted to get in Sky or other free games and stuff. I just could not get it. It was just my life. It was just what I had going on. That was on me, y'all. If I missed out on something, that's on me. I can't blame the company for that. Why would I blame a company? They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm just playing their game. But one thing about it, this game makes me happy. I met so many genuine ass people on this game. Like, you can't stop me from playing a game with connecting people like that, especially people from other regions and stuff. I'm all about multicultural awareness, and that's what we need right now in real life and in game and real life. Like we all just need to come together. Like me, I hope that when I am a successful YouTuber, I want to be able to do giveaways and stuff on my channel to actually give out to some people that think some stuff on Sky is expensive. I would love to give out battle pass, adventure. Sorry, I said battle pass. This ain't Fortnite. Adventure pass and Sky. Like do giveaways or maybe just do random giveaways. Just some people that just need it and stuff like that. I want to do stuff like that. I can understand the pricing being increased a lot in some. I can understand the Sky prices being a lot in some regions. And again, that's not entirely Sky's fault. That's really just a regional problem. But that's not your fault as the player. That's not your fault. You're just in that region. That's why it's just so high. It's not like it's your fault. I understand y'all frustration on here, and it's completely valid. But talking shit about a game and then still spending money on the game, that just makes you a hypocrite, in my opinion. Don't if you don't like a game, if you don't like a game, don't support it. But if you're just gonna keep spending money on it and then still talking about how this is expensive, you're really just you're being a hypocrite right now. If anything, when I first started this game, all I did was just buy the adventure pass. Yeah, they had other cosmetics and stuff that I could get that was out of the adventure pass, but you literally get your money's worth for the adventures pass. You literally get your money's worth. All you gotta do is just put in the grind for it. There are certain accessories that I spent real money on. I'm not ashamed of that. That's my choice. It's my money. I can do whatever the hell I want to do with my money. And one thing about it, I don't want nobody in the community judging me trying to buy stuff that I love buying on this game because it's my money. I deserve to spoil myself. Y'all don't know my life. So hop off mines and focus on yours. That's how I feel. That's my perspective on it. Don't make people that actually do spend some money on this game feel bad about their purchases and stuff like that, saying that we're the problem, that prices are increasing and stuff like that. That's not our fault. We just love the game. We love the game for the connectivity and enjoyment and just meeting new people and stuff, you know? So it kills me when there's some negative people that still play this game want to say that everything's expensive, but yet you still play this game. You gotta put your money where your mouth is, or at least put your money in your pocket, so you know you won't spend nothing on here and talk trash about this game. And yet there's there's a new season coming out, y'all. There's a new season coming out in about 4 days, season of migration. And trust and believe, I'm going to get that adventure pass. You know, trust and believe that. And whatever cosmetic, whatever accessories that they have that I might like, I would choose to buy it if I want to. And I expect most of y'all in this player base to do the same exact thing. If something is expensive to me, I'm not gonna get it. That's just how it is gonna be, you know. And yeah, that's really just all I gotta say, man. That's really just all I gotta say. Let me know what y'all think on the video. Leave a comment, subscribe. Like I said, give me some tips on how I can better my videos and stuff like that. Y'all have a blessed day, man. You know. Peace, peace, peace.